Yes, let's take that belt right there. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Next up for grabs on the slate, we've got a signed American Combat Alliance, signed by the one and only Dynamite himself. We're going to start the bidding off right now at $2,000. So here we go, going around the room right now looking for $2,000, $2,000, can I get $2,000? We got $2,000, thank you right here, sir. Can I get $2,100 and a $2,100? We've got $2,100, can I get $2,250? We've got $2,250. Oh my goodness, we have a church in here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But we're not done. We're going to crank this thing up. We're trying to get $3,000. We want you to open your hearts, open your minds, and open your wallets because we're raising money for a good cause here tonight. And you just keep rolling, man. Keep rolling.
Hey, man.
That is a $1 million gift. I swear to God. Welcome to the Haitian Kings Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, today we got a special guest with us. This guest is so special to where we're going to let him do his own intro. Because if we do it, we'll do him in disservice. Dynamite. Holla at us, man. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the Haitian Kings Podcast. We are live, large, and in charge worldwide. I am the maniacal maestro of the microphone, one of a kind, sure to blow your mind and guaranteed to put a double wiggle in your behind. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dynamite, the voice of AKA American Combat Alliance, and we're locked, cocked, and ready to rock for the best podcast you've ever seen. So strap in, hang on. It's going to be a wild ride as the two kings and the wannabe prince, old Dynamite, rides all night long.
Oh my God! Hey, that is something special. That is a talent. What, does it just fly out of the mind? How does that work?
It really does, man. I mean, I get put on the spot so much because we wear a lot of hats in a smaller company. You know, I'm part of the ring crew. I set the cage up. I tear the cage down. I do all our press junkets. I reach out to sponsors. I go scout venues, things like that. So a lot of times you don't get the opportunity to prepare. Just you get a camera stuck in your face, a fighter walks up to give you a microphone, okay, start the interview. So you just got to be able to ad lib and shoot from the hip. And I tell guys all the time, hey man, can you send me a copy of that? Because I don't remember half of what I said. It just kind of flows when I start talking.
And that is a pure talent though, for real. Like let's take it way back from the beginning. Where did your journey started as a ring announcer? Like from way back?
My journey started using the microphone, being in front of crowds when I was in high school. I grew up in a little small town called Ponchatoula, Louisiana, in Tangipahoa Parish, about 3 hours from here. And when I was in high school, I remember I was in agricultural education, and I competed in something called extemporaneous public speaking. And I remember my ag teacher came to me one day and said, man, you like to talk a lot. I'm going to put you in this extemporaneous public speaking contest. I said, I don't know what you said, Mr. Powell, but I'm down for it. Let's do it. And what it was, they would bring you to a competition. You bring 5 books with you. They would have a bag. You reach into this bag and you pull 5 topics out of the bag. You pick the one topic out of those 5 you think you're the most educated about or that you have books to educate yourself about. Then you have 30 minutes to go in and write a 4-minute speech. And you had to give this 4-minute speech. Well, it was something I just kind of took to. I did pretty well at it. Well, I started winning a lot of awards doing that on the state level, on the parish level, on the regional level. Well, I remember one day I was in high school walking down the hall in between changing classes. And believe it or not, old Dynamite stayed in trouble a lot when I was in high school.
I can see that.
So the principal, Mr. Thompson, Coach Thompson, we called him, big man, very intimidating. I hear him call my name on the loudspeaker, David Harding, come to the office. I'm like, oh God, what have I done now? My mom's going to kill me. I didn't know what I'd done, but I knew I was in trouble for something. Well, he calls me in. He said, look, the guy that does the PA announcing for our football team, I forget the reason what it was now. I mean, this is back in 1994. He was like, man, he's not with us anymore. We need an announcer for Friday night. So I'm nominating you. You're going to be the announcer for the football team Friday night.
Like, how old were you back then?
I was 14, 15 years old. I didn't have a clue, but I was like, okay, yes, sir, I'll be there. So I started doing that. Within the basketball coach heard me and said, man, why don't you come start doing the basketball games? Okay, so I started doing the basketball games. Then other high schools in the region, Hammond High School, LaRondre High School, Meade High School, started asking me to come do some of their basketball games when I could, of course. And it was tough because I was just still a kid going to high school. So that's kind of where it started. And I got into doing local high school sports, radio, play-by-play for basketball and football, some local radio stations. And I did that for a lot of years just kind of on the side. Well, then fast forward a lot of years later, many years later, I was selling luxury used cars, and a couple came in. It was Dr. Rico Impastato and his wife, Rhonda. They bought an Infinity QX56 from me. And as we got to talking, they said, man, you got a pretty good voice. I said, well, I do some local high school sports on the radio station around here. He said, man, do you ever watch that Ultimate Fighting, the cage fighting on television? Now, at the time, UFC, I mean, this is 22 years ago. It's a long time ago. The UFC was just getting going. Pride, King of the Cage, a lot of those were big top organizations at the time. So the sport was still in its infancy. And I told him, I was like, oh, man, yeah, I love it. I'm a huge fan. He said, well, I have a promotion over in New Orleans. I'm not getting along with my announcer right now. Would you like to give it a shot? I said, man, is the frog's ass watertight? Let's do it. I'll try it out. So not knowing anything about it, I think I went to a Kmart or a Walmart, and I bought my first suit I ever had off the rack. I mean, it didn't fit. My sleeves came down to here. My pants came down this low below my ankles. I mean, it looked horrible. But I had a suit. I got in the cage. And you don't get to go to the library and check out a book. You can't go take a seminar, how to be a ring announcer. It's just not out there.
Yeah.
So you just kind of emulate what you had seen on television. And me growing up, I was how heavily influenced by WWF Pro Wrestling, WCW Pro Wrestling. Of course, everybody knows Michael Buffer, Let's Get Ready to Rumble, things like that. So you start out emulating them, and then just slowly over time, you kind of start to develop your own style, your own shtick. And with me, it was always, I never liked the fact that announcers are supposed to be heard and not seen. You're just an addition. Hey, you stand there, you talk pretty, you get the hell out of the way. And I'm like, nah, that's not right, because you're the center of the cage. You're the center of the ring. People see me more than they see the fighters because I'm there in between every fight.
Exactly.
Like, one of the guys you had on your show, Austin Swallow or Hunter Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, those are main event guys. People buy tickets to see them. They don't buy tickets to see me, but at the same time, you see me more than you see them.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, man, I need to find a way to work myself into being more part of the show to make sure people feel like they're getting their money's worth. Because, I'll come here to see my favorite fighter, but if I got somebody that's got me hyped and excited and having a good time all night long, hey, that makes it that much better.
Yes.
So that's why I started kind of, and it's not real far from who I am. I'm a pretty energetic, like to hang out, good time guy. I love making people happy. So that's where a lot of that came from, just me wanting to make people in the crowd happy, to where if I could have that crowd red hot and they're up screaming, hooping, and hollering, then when their favorite fighter comes out, now they're twice as energetic. Now you're getting this main event fighter, a UFC level pop, even though there's only 2,000 people in the building, because you've done your job at getting that crowd hype and energetic and having a good time all night.
Because I couldn't agree more with you, because I remember the first time I see you, I was like, damn, who is this guy, But I'm not too big in the fight world like he is. So now I was trying to get into it, and then I saw you. But the first time I had the chance to go, that's the first fight, the AKA fight. That's my first fight ever,
really
live. Yeah. So I had the chance. I was like, damn, this is I can't remember. I might not remember a few fights, but I remember you the whole night. And to me, that's very important, because you got the energy, you got the voice, you do the dance, you do the stomping, you do. I don't think there is nothing you don't do, but that's, to me, that's remarkable, man. So, I know you said, but is that something that you worked on, or you just going to every day you just try something new, or you got a routine?
No, I've got a little bit of a routine now, because like I said, I've been doing this almost 20 years. When that first fight I was telling you about, that was 2006, I think it was, when I did my first ever MMA fight. So I've been at it for a long time. And yeah, look, I've tried a lot of things that didn't work that well, kind of got laughed out of the building. Hey, some nights you're the hero, some nights you're the zero. But over time, I found what has worked, what does get a good reaction from the fighters, what does get a good reaction from the fans. And I stuck with that and just kind of added to it as I go.
Okay.
But everything I do, man, is really, it's off energy. If I come to a crowd, man, and the crowds, they're loving what I'm slinging, they're eating out of my hand, and the energy's real high, you'll get twice as much out of me.
Okay,
and then some nights if I'm out there and I'm really pushing my stuff and it's not going over as good as it normally does, okay, well, I'll just kind of keep it at a certain level and let the fighters steal the show. And that's the best thing, is when you have a show where the fights are so good, I don't have to do as much. But sometimes even the greatest fights in the world on paper, man, they look so good, doesn't always translate to an entertaining fight. Sometimes they're just dull. It happens in MMA. Not every fight's a banger. Not every fight's horrible.
Absolutely.
So I feel like if I can kind of step in and keep the crowd energized and keep the level of energy up through those couple fights, then that's what it's all about.
Yeah, thinking of your feet, let's say something happened and you can just come up with something on the fly. That's a skill on its own. You know what I mean?
Well, I tell you, I've been put on that spot a couple times, and that's something I've always I guess, kind of prided myself on, or something I look at. You know, the word you hear, you're an MC. You're an MC. Well, MC stands for Master of Ceremonies. The people sitting out there in the crowd that bought tickets, they don't know that something broke in the back. They don't know that a fighter's hurt. They don't know that this speaker went out. So it's your job to keep the show going. So there's no break in the flow. I've been put in situations, and man, I remember the first time it happened. I was at Harrah's Casino in New Orleans, Louisiana. We're sitting there, and I got the whole crowd to stand up. Hey, please stand for the singing of our national anthem. Well, I'm standing there with my hand across my heart, and about 45 seconds to a minute of uncomfortable silence goes by. Everybody's just standing there, and the room's quiet. I mean, you could hear a mouse fart. It was quiet. And then I can't see the DJ because the lights are right in my face, so I do a little motion like this. And then another 10 or 15 seconds go by. Still nothing. So everybody's been standing up for a minute plus now. I don't know what's going on, and I hear the DJ, I don't have it. So the DJ does not have the national anthem. So now here I am on the spot. Now look, I can talk all day long, sun up to sundown. Old Dynamite ain't no singer. But being put on the spot right there, the show must go on. So I just started singing, oh, see, can you see? And man, look, I didn't know if I knew all the words, but I went through, I got done, the crowd went nuts. I had to go behind the curtain so nobody could see me, and it took everything I had. One of the referees had to catch me because my whole body was limp. I've never been so scared in all my life, but I did it. Went through it. And then throughout my career, I think that's happened 3, maybe 4 times where I've been put on the spot, just no prep, no rehearsal, don't know it's coming, and just have to sing the national anthem. And that's tough, man. Look, just like these fighters, always compliment these fighters because for anybody to step inside that ring or that cage and put yourself out there. Think about it when you were a kid on the schoolyard. If you got in a little tussle and you got your nose busted or somebody beat you up, man, your friends, their friends, everybody at the school was going to ride your ass for the next several weeks. I mean, your machismo was just hurt.
Yeah.
So imagine what these guys go through. You're going out there and you're fighting in front of your family, your friends, people you don't know, 1,500, 2,000, 10,000. That's a lot to put on the line. Not so much the fact that you can get hurt, you can get injured, you might die, but just the fact that, hey, man, nobody wants to lose in front. Nobody wants to pack an ass whooping in front of all those people.
Yeah.
So that, man, mad respect to those guys. Same thing with me. You go out there, I mean, I start singing. It's like, man, I can't sing. I'm off key. It sounds horrible. But to put yourself out there and do that in front of a crowd at the snap, man, look, woo. It'll humble you.
It take balls. Honestly, me personally,
It'll
even
humble
if
you
I had
real
the
fast.
skills, once the DJ told me, like, we don't have it, I knew for a fact I wasn't going to start singing. It doesn't matter how much liquor I had in me, what the heck I was on, I would never go ahead and know that I can't sing and be like, enroll with it. It takes balls to really do what you do. Because you know.
Like, yeah, we're not having the anthem tonight. Sorry.
No. Hey, we're going to try to make sure that everything goes as planned. We're not going to try to put you on the spot. But I got another question for you, though. The voice. Clearly, you got the skill, the talent. Where did the voice come from? Like, did you work on it? Like,
Man, look, I scrub real hard every night in the shower. It won't wash off. I'm stuck with the voice. I can turn it up and turn it down a little bit, but I mean, this is me.
Can you whisper?
My 2 daughters, they tell me all the time.
Can you whisper?
I can whisper.
Okay, because that is some, like, I came in here and I shook your hand and said, hey, man, how you doing? I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, that voice is extremely freaking deep.
Well, it's one of those, you only get one chance to make a first impression, right?
I got you.
So the first time I meet somebody, you got to put your best foot forward. So you can dial it up a little bit there. And then as you get to know them a little bit, maybe you can pull it down some.
But question, when you were younger, because I remember vividly, men, especially young men, when they're like 15, 16, their voice is not quite as deep, and then they started talking to girls. At least I used to do it. I try to make my voice as deep as possible.
Yeah, baby. How you doing?
Till I can sound like a man or something. Did you ever have that problem? Or you just, hey, since you were 5?
No, I mean, I guess it's always been pretty deep. And I mean, I've always been a talker. I've always enjoyed talking. I've always enjoyed talking to people. It's just something that came naturally to me. But it's like anything else. It's like a singer, all right? A singer's born with a great voice. It doesn't mean you can sing. You have to learn how to sing, learn how to get on key, learn notes. You have to learn the scales, but you're born with that voice. Same thing here. I mean, this is my natural voice, but I've had to learn how to use it as an announcer. I've had to learn how to use it as an interviewer. I had to learn how to use it to entertain people.
Also, you also said about part of your job is being put in a spot and then you got to come up with something. Is there anything else about your job you feel like that's underappreciated? People don't quite understand how tough doing it is, because people see you, they get excited, but they don't know the hard part about it besides being put in the spot.
It's one of those, man. It's almost like watching Michael Jordan play basketball. And I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan. So all you damn haters out there, slow down. I'll get hung for that one. But no, it's just when you watch Michael Jordan play basketball, it's like, oh, I could do that. He makes it look so easy. Or you watch Kobe Bryant, or some of the guys nowadays, Steph Curry. Oh, he makes it look so I can knock down 3-pointers like that because they make it look that easy. I've been doing this a long time. I've messed up a lot. I've gained a lot of experience. So yeah, I make it look easy. But come on, anybody that wants to try it, come on out there, buddy. I'll put you in the center of that ring, give you the microphone, and let you roll all night long and see how easy it is. Because you've got people coming up to you all night, especially at the regional level. This isn't the UFC. There's not billions of dollars involved at the regional level. You don't have producers and directors and TV people, this, that, and the other. So you might have something going on in the back. Hey, a fighter's still getting taped up. He's running behind. You'll have your promoter coming to you, like my boss, Miss Amber Bishop, and her husband, John. They'll all night long, hey, we need to do this. We got to do this. You got to say this. Hey, so-and-so just got here. Make sure you. So they're throwing stuff at you on the fly. Plus, you're trying to keep the show going, what you know is happening as far as the fights and everything. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot of pressure on you, and there's a lot of things that happen that you got to be able to think on your feet.
Even though the name match Dynamite, but I still got to ask, where did it come from?
All right, that one, when I first started doing this, I knew I wanted a little bit of recognition. And when I first started doing this, I wanted to be so different. My good friend Kelly, she always told me, Dynamite, you're the most extra man I've ever met. I've always been a little extra, a little over top, a little flamboyant, right? So when I started doing this, I wanted to be everything that the Michael Buffers and the Bruce Buffers and all those guys, I wanted to be everything they weren't. I wanted to be totally different from them. And that's why I tell people a lot of times, I'm more of an entertainer than just an announcer. Look, there's a lot of guys out there with better voices than me. There's a lot of guys out there with better enunciation than me, but can't nobody do what old Dynamite does.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't nobody bring the energy. Nobody puts on the show like me.
Because like I said, there's a difference between an announcer. Like I said,
but the reason the name Dynamite, where it came from, when I was younger, man, like I told you, I stayed in trouble a lot. I was picked on, heckled, gay. I was a fat kid. So I caught a lot of shit when I was younger coming up. And I had a bad temper because of it. So I had people, every once in a while, it blew up on you like dynamite right there. So when I first started doing the ring announcing, man, I would say my name 1,000 times. I'm David Hardy, David Hardy, David Hardy, David Hardy, David Hardy, David Hardy. And at the end of the night, you get ready to leave the cage. Hey, Michael Buffer, let's get ready to rock out. Announcer dude. And I got so tired of hearing that. So one night, I'm maybe 6-7 fights into my fight career. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try this. And I'm getting ready to leave the cage. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dynamite, saying thank you all so much for coming out. God bless you and good night. Dude, they opened the cage door to let me out. Dynamite! I'm like, that's it. That's it. I'm sticking with it. It was just obnoxious enough, stupid enough. People remember it.
That is genius.
I'll have people find me on social media. A lot of times they can't find me on social media. It's like, dude, we didn't know you had a real name. We thought that was your damn name. It was Dynamite. It's like, no, it's not my real name.
But the thing is, let's just say like, are you a parent, like a father, husband, anything like that? So do you entertain your kids the same way?
Oh, yes. I catch flack from my daughters all the time. I got 2 beautiful daughters. One's a senior this year in high school. One's a freshman, Kinsley and Briley. Love of my life.
My daughter's name is Kinsley. Oh,
really?
That's interesting, yeah.
Outstanding. They get me all the time. They're like, Dad, turn off the announcer voice, man. When I'm first meeting friends of theirs, parents or something, or I'm around their teachers. They're like, yeah, Dad, turn off the announcer voice. So, yeah, my kids give me a lot of flack about it. And like my daughter, she's got a few teachers in high school that follow me on Facebook, on social media. They've been to some of my fights. So like, yeah, man, Kinsley, how's your dad? Your dad doing okay? And she's like, yes, Dad's fine.
That is interesting. That is interesting. But like another question I actually have shit ever went so south to where even somebody with your expertise froze in the moment, or maybe you were having like an off night to where you're like, oh shit, I ain't got nothing out of the bag to pull out, something like that? Anything you can remember in that sense?
No, and man, I get so conflicted when I do interviews like this because I'm happy with what I do and I'm proud of who I am, but at the same time, sometimes when you give yourself credit, you sound arrogant. And look, I'm the most humble, laid-back, non-arrogant guy you'll ever meet, but man, I'm good at this. I'm good at what I do. And no, I don't have an off night. You can talk to producers, cameramen, anybody. I mean, you can walk up to me at 2 o'clock in the morning, wake me up out of bed, let me wipe the sleep out of my eyes, put a camera in my face, give me 30 seconds, and I'll give you the interview of your life. It's just, it's what I do. I push myself so hard. I'm my biggest critic. You know, my boss, Miss Amber, she tells me all the time, David, you got to quit being so hard on yourself. You got to quit being so hard on yourself. But I do. I'm always striving to be the best that I can be. And I'm always striving to make everybody around me happy. Energy is infectious.
Yes.
It really
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
If somebody comes into a room and they're down and they're negative and then I get caught up in that real quick.
Yeah.
If somebody comes into a room and they're positive and they're uplifting, I get caught up in that as well. And that's why I try to bring the energy that I do at any show or anything that I host. I want everybody to be on the level that I am. I want them having as much fun as I am. If I got to get out there and make a fool out of myself and say something stupid or do a stupid dance move, things like that, but if it makes you happy for the people that came to my show and they've spent their hard-earned dollars to come watch these fighters perform and come be a part of our event, man, I want you to leave thinking, man, I'm glad I spent that money. I had the time of my life.
I mean, this is crazy because doing this right now, you bring the energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
hyped up.
I'm
Just
hyped.
listening to you.
But even though I don't think like even though if you had an off night, I don't think people would ever notice that because you just do so much. I don't think it'd be rare
You're
for
right. I'm
somebody.
going backstage for, man, I wish I would have did this. They're like, dude, nobody knew. It's like, yeah, but I know. Like, trust me, Dynamite. Nobody saw, nobody caught that, but I do. I caught it. So I worked so hard to try to correct that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like because, like you say, energy is infectious. Like the minute you bring the energy, everything else.
People gonna match it. People
Yes.
for sure gonna match it because like whenever like you're the first in the room that walks with the positive energy, like especially you one like yours, even if somebody was on some negative shit, it's infectious. You're like, okay, this dude happy. Look how hyped up he is. Let me see what he on, and start a conversation with you. Just like right now, sitting across from you, talking to you right now. The energy you bring, the voice, and everything in between. It's a hype. That is a talent. And I'm sure you also recognize that, but that is a gift in a sense, because not everybody can do what you do. And then even from looking at it from afar, I don't think, as arrogant as I may be sometimes, I can be like, okay, I can appreciate it from what it is. It's not going to be one of those things like you were saying, Steph Curry can shoot a three-point and it seems easy because I play a little bit of basketball, or I see somebody do something that I do a little bit of and I dare to say, I can do that. But you, because I'm sure you've heard of people having stage fright. Like a lot of people do it. Like you put a mic in front of them and then they see the light, they freeze. It even happened to the fighters. But yet, seeing you doing it so effortlessly and then doing it so well is mind-blowing on its own.
And I'll let you in on a little secret, guys. I mean, a lot of people see it when I'm out there in the ring and I tend to sweat a lot, right? The reason being, I'm scared to death. Every time they hit my music, when they play TNT by AC/DC and I'm behind the curtain and nobody saw me yet, a lot of times people are backstage with me and I mean, I'll show them. My hands are shaking. I'm scared to death. Every time I walk out of that
There's
curtain,
no way.
the nervous energy is just through the roof. Because again, I'm not that confident as a person as I am when I'm out there being Dynamite. But I know that's my job. And like I said, energy is infectious. If I go out there, everybody else is going to be, if I go out there over the top, the one of a kind, sure to blow your mind, guaranteed to put a double wiggle in your behind, all that kind of stuff. If I go out there with that energy and you start it there, everybody's there with you all night long.
Yeah.
But no, guys, look, I mean, I'm telling you, I am scared to death. Every time I walk out there, nervous like you wouldn't believe. But it's almost like, it's like Batman putting on the mask. You know, he's not Bruce Wayne anymore. He's Batman now. When I go out in front of that curtain, it's like, hey, it's time to be Dynamite.
I mean, to switch it up like this, I would think that's crazy. You know? For you to have that.
Well, look, situations like this feel so great. I mean, I'm having a blast in here talking with you guys, and it's so great to feel appreciated. Somebody's like, oh, man, what you do is great. Because I have gotten a lot of flack. It's been a hard road for me because I'm so counterculture to what an announcer is supposed to be.
Okay.
And a lot of the top guys at the high level, look, Michael Buffer and Bruce Buffer, they have come after me. I've been served with legal papers from them before.
For what?
Our company, American Combat Alliance, we are the first and only company to bring UFC Fight Pass to the state of Louisiana. We worked with the UFC Fight Pass for a year. It was fantastic. Great organization. It was a dream of ours to work with them. So glad we got to do it. The first show we ever did on UFC Fight Pass, I did my intro, my opening like I normally do. Now, this was during the COVID year, so our ring girls had masks over their face. But we did this intro. Well, whoever runs the UFC Fight Pass official Twitter page, they decided to put that intro up on their Twitter page to make fun of me because they put up a new challenger for Triple C's Cringe Crown. So they put it up to bury me, to make an ass out of me. It got 100 and something thousand views in less than 24 hours. Well, it started getting shared around by a lot of people. Well, next thing you know, a lot of UFC fighters and some UFC staff are sharing it around. It gets to Bruce Buffer. Lo and behold, I get legal papers served to me from Let's Get Ready to Rumble LLC because I said the words, "Are you ready?" Now, we all know Mr. Michael Buffer has a patent on Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
He also has 14 other patents, and what the legal term is a call to battle. And because I said the words, "Are you ready?" they came after me, threatening me with tens of thousands of dollars of damages. I'm like, wait, whoa, guys, I don't think you understand. What I surmised happened from the situation, because we were on Fight Pass, because that thing kind of went viral on Twitter, 100 and something thousand views in less than 24 hours, and people like John Anik and a lot of other big wigs at UFC were sharing it around. I don't know, maybe they saw me as a threat and decided to shake me down, trying to get a bunch of money out of me. And when I told them how much I make at night and what I do for a living, they just started laughing. And next thing you know, I got a cease and desist.
But I mean,
Look, I'll let you guys know a little secret. You want to talk about a rags to riches story? If somebody was to ever sit down and let me really tell them a life story, what I do for a living, I operate sewer plants. And I'm talking large neighborhoods, huge million-gallon. I play, and you know what, all day long. That's what I do. The nastiest of the nasty. Out in the heat, sweating my butt off. Now, look, I've worked very hard at that as well. I'm a Class 4 wastewater treatment operator and in collections. That's the highest level you can get, the Louisiana Department of Hospitals and DEQ here in the state of Louisiana. So I've worked very hard at it, but it's not a glamorous job. And it's not something that I talk to a lot of people about. You know, people ask me, hey, do you do anything besides this? Yeah, you know, I work, but I just kind of leave it at that. But that's what I've done. I mean, for the last 15 years, I operate sewer plants. But yet, when I come to Friday night and Saturday night, when I'm in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, when I'm in all these other places, man, the lights come up, the music hits, the curtain goes out, hey, I'm dynamite. For that little bit of time, I'm living that dream, man. I'm a superstar. For that little bit of time. Then come Monday morning, you're back out in the heat, and you're just covered in stuff your dog wouldn't even want to touch.
But I gotta ask you this, dude. Like, do you separate the two personalities? Like, whenever you get back between your regular life, kind of like we touched upon as being a dad, husband, somebody.
A little bit. There's a lot of overlap. You know, people that maybe don't know me personally, they'll see stuff on social media or they'll see me doing an interview. I talk about myself in third person. The old dynamite. It's just playing up the character, man. Really is. I mean, I said that. I'm that guy. That Dynamite's just me kind of turned up to 11. If you turn David Hardy up just a little bit, you get Dynamite. I'm not real far from that as far as a real person, but I do crank it up just a little bit. And I like to play up that character some because that's what the people react to. That's what they want to see. You know, like Hulk Hogan. His real name's not Hulk Hogan, it's Terry Bollea. Yeah. But everybody knows Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
When he walks through the curtain in the yellow and red or in the black and white, hey, that's Hulk Hogan. When he gets home to his kids, hey, that's Dad, that's Terry.
Yeah.
Same thing with me. When I get home to my kids, just, hey, that's Dad. It's not Dynamite. Like all my coworkers, you know, they all call me Dynamite, and I kind of enjoy the nickname. You know, I like it.
That's a dope nickname.
When you work with them, they make you do a little
intro.
Oh my goodness, it's like a dancing monkey. They throw quarters at me. Hey, Dynamite, do the thing, man, do the thing. Like, okay, I'll do the thing.
Oh, that is crazy. Because it is a talent. The thing is, if somebody get to appreciate it and get to see it live, like you said, you've met people who said they came to the show just to see you. It's something rare. It really is rare because, like, when you compare yourself to the well-known Bruce Buffer and so on and so forth, they don't quite do what you do. They intro well, they got the voice and so on and so forth, but you entertain and do intro. Like, you do way more than they do. It's like sometimes does that make you feel like, I guess, in a sense, you may be unappreciated? Perhaps you feel like, okay, I feel like I'm more talented than those guys. Why should I be way higher, working with the UFC, HBO, with boxing, and so on and so forth?
I mean, look, we all have visions of grandeur from time to time. And of course, I have things like that run through my head. But you just got to understand how this business works for what we do as announcers. It's not like athletes and other people to where there's platitudes. You can constantly climb that ladder of success. With us, it's more of a pyramid. There's so much more opportunity at the bottom Then as you start to climb and get more of a reputation and get yourself out there, the opportunities get smaller and smaller and smaller. Let's take some of the top guys in the world. You got Mr. Tim Hughes is the announcer for Glory Kickboxing. You've got Bruce Buffer, does it for the UFC. Of course, you got Michael Buffer himself. Let's get ready to rumble. You got Mr. Jimmy Lennon, does Showtime Boxing, a lot of things like that. You've got some great announcers out there. Well, guess what? That's the only big time jobs there are. Everything else is under that. All those big jobs are taken. It's not like Dana White's going to go tomorrow, hey, Bruce, you're out of here, man. Hot shit Dynamite just showed up. It doesn't go down like that.
I got
That's
you.
those guys' dream job. They're making millions of dollars doing it. They're not going anywhere. And I can't blame them for that. I wouldn't want to give it up either. So you just hit a certain level, and that's what happened with me. I've been doing this for so long with so many different companies all across the Gulf South. I mean, like I said, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. I mean, getting around doing bodybuilding, professional boxing, professional wrestling, MMA, concerts, festivals, fundraisers, political rallies, high school football, high school basketball, anything that put a camera in my face and give me a microphone for, I was doing it. Did it for a long time. Well, I knew I'd gotten to a certain level, like this is it. This is as big as it's ever going to get for me, right here, because there's nowhere else to go. All those top jobs are there. They're gone. They're taken. So that's when I decided about 2 years ago, maybe almost 3 years ago now, I got with Amber and John Bishop. That is the owners, the hustle and the muscle behind AKA. Well, of all the years I've been working with all these different companies, AKA was one of the best companies I'd ever worked for. Everything they did was just a cut above. The cage was the nicest cage I'd ever seen. Their belt, that original belt you see right there, was the nicest regional MMA belt I'd ever seen. I just really fell in love with the company. Well, on their second or third show, they called me up. So I got to go start working with them. Well, I worked with them for about 4 or 5 years. I'd gotten pretty frustrated with my regular job, my 9 to 5, and I'd also gotten kind of frustrated with some of the other companies I've been working for a long time. I was like, man, it's nice when you go do a big casino show and you're live on pay-per-view, and then you go do one in a high school basketball gym with a DJ with speakers you can't hear. And it's like, okay, I'm kind of over this. So I approached Amber and John. I was like, look, guys, I'd love to maybe go full-time, go exclusive with AKA. I'd also like to see if we can work something out to maybe I can invest and have a small portion of the company as well. So we worked something out. So not only am I the face, the voice of AKA, but also own a very, very small portion of the company as well. So for the last 2, almost 3 years, I've been exclusive with American Combat Alliance only. So when it comes to combat sports, be it boxing, MMA, I don't announce for anybody else. Now, I still do some pro wrestling. I still do some bodybuilding shows. I got a bodybuilding show in Destin, Florida next weekend I'll be doing. That's a pro and an amateur show, NPC and IFBB. So that's really big. But I don't announce for anybody else as far as combat sports. Any promotion you can think of in the state of Louisiana or the state of Mississippi, I was their announcer, and I was their announcer for a long time. But the flip side, the good thing about that is I was pretty popular there for a while, and I was working so many shows. Well, if there was anybody else trying to come up and cut their teeth in the world of mixed martial arts, it was hard because I was sucking up all the oxygen in the room. Everybody wanted me to come be their MC. So when I decided to make the switch over to AKA, the young man lives right here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, I brought him into a show I was with called Gulf Coast MMA to do some co-commentary with me on the pay-per-views. Got to develop a little bit of chemistry, really started to like the young man. Bryce Boudreaux's his name. He's the voice of the Gumbo Gators right here, and he's the voice of a lot of MMA companies now. Well, I told Bryce, man, look, I'm getting ready to change your life. I'm going to go exclusive with AKA, and I'm going to introduce you to every promoter that I work for right now, and hopefully they'll hire you. You can take my spot, and you'll be off and running. And he's been doing it for a little over 2 years now. I think Bryce is about 23, 24 years old. And, I mean, he's the hottest thing going in Louisiana right now.
Nice.
I mean, Bryce is doing a fantastic job, really is. So that made me feel good because, look, nobody helped me coming up, buddy. I promise you. I had to kick, scratch, bite, crawl, fight for everything I got. So if I can make it a little easier for somebody else on their journey, that makes me feel good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But I got to ask you this, though. Those little puns you come up with, those quiet, you could hear a mouth fart type shit. Like, is this a southern thing, or you just came up with those things and then they became part of your repertoire type shit?
It just pops out, and some of them I carry with me. I guess some of them become trademark. You know, like I like to say, here we are, we're locked, cocked, and ready to rock for more action. Things like that. Yeah, you'll hear me use that a lot, but a lot of it, just think of it on the fly. Like we were doing a show this past weekend at the Paragon Casino in Marksville, Louisiana. Well, we had a group that was there with us. It was the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Club. So it was the entire state of Louisiana. They had their state rally going on at this casino same time we were doing our show. So they bought a table or two and they were at the event. Well, I decided, man, I need to honor these guys because not only are they veterans, but I mean, they are combat veterans. They active duty. They went out and they risked it all to protect this country. So I recognized them to the crowd. And I mean, I gave a very impassioned, heartfelt to them. Well, man, out of nowhere, everybody in the audience stands up and they start clapping. And then they start chanting, USA, USA. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I got emotional. So right there on the spot, I'm just thinking on the fly, trying to keep the energy going. So what do? I start singing Lee Greenwood, God Bless the USA, from the lakes in Minnesota. And I got the whole audience singing with me, God bless the USA. And that was just so cool because, I mean, at the spur of the moment, it just happened. But like I said, it's reading off the energy. I'm very crowd focused, man. I do. I get out. Like if you come to one of my shows, you'll notice you don't see me sitting cage side. I miss half of the fights. I mean, I get to see portions of it. I go back and watch them on YouTube because I'm out in the crowd, man. I like to go out and fist bump everybody, shake hands. Thank you so much for coming. We're glad to have you here. If I see kids, I like to take that belt with me. Hey, come on, let's take a picture with the kids. And I don't need to take a picture with them. I let the kids take a picture just for themselves. I remember when I was younger, go watch pro wrestling. Yeah. Man, we used to have Mid-South Wrestling was a little company come down here and things like that. Man, if the Junkyard Dog or Hacksaw Jim Duggan or the Hulk Hogan, one of those guys happened to give you a fist bump when they were going to the ring and you're 7 years old, I'm never washing his hand again. And I remember how I felt. So now I want to pass that on to the kids, even though, AKA we're a smaller regional show. We're not on the national level just yet, but get ready, we're coming. But these kids don't know that. When they come to that show, they see the lights, they see the fights, they see me, and they think, hey, this guy's something big. Yeah. So I want to make them feel special when I'm there. I'm all about the fans. That's something else you notice. And look, you'll never hear me criticize another MC. We're all chasing the same dream, what we do. And with announcers, it's very similar to music. What you might find is your favorite music might be nails on a chalkboard to me, and vice versa. Same thing with announcers. There's a lot of people that love what I do. There's a lot of people that think I'm an ass clown that can't stand me. And I get that. It's all opinion based. It's not so much talent. It's just what the people like, what they don't like. And so that's one thing. But I try to make everybody in my audience, like I told you, feel special. So if you ever come to a show or watch me on television or watch me on pay-per-view, I can't stand when you see an announcer doing this. You can't see that announcer's face. Yeah. You don't know nothing. And now fighting out of they're buried in that damn card. My card is down here. I'm working to the camera so the people at home on pay-per-view, the people tuning in on television think, hey, Dynamite's talking to me. And at the same time, I'm surveying my audience because I want everybody that's there in that crowd to think, man, he's talking right to me. He's making eye contact with me. I want them to feel special. And that's why I do some of the things I do.
Have you ever done like auctions? Like, those auctions there, we got a 20, like, have you ever done that?
I've done plenty of auctions.
Hey, give me a quick sample.
I did one about 3 weeks ago in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. There was a young man by the name of Nico. He was a big popular drummer in the area where he passed tragically. So they decided to do a music fest every year in his honor called Nico Palooza. Well, a lot of local businesses in Hattiesburg will donate musical instruments. They'll donate gift cards. They'll donate prizes. We have a company called Heritage Firearms. They donate guns. We raffle them off, or at least I auction them off, and all the money goes to the Nico Fund, and they help support local music schools, local musicians. They buy instruments. It's a really, really great cause. Like this past year, we had an actual real live working flamethrower that Heritage Firearms donated. I got $2,800 for it. We had a painting of the kid Nico. I got $2,000 for it. And it's just playing with the crowd. And again, it's that energy, and you get the crowd rolling. Next thing you know, they're bidding. I don't know why I'm bidding, but Dynamite's talking. I like it.
Hey, man, that is pure skill. Like, in a sense, who you kind of remind me of? You kind of remind me of a TV show character. Like, Call Saul, you better call Saul.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That type of energy. Like, when that person starts, I don't know if
you never watched Breaking Bad? Or?
Never seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I've seen Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul, the lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I get that same energy. It's kind of like when you start talking, it's kind of like, even if you start saying the sky is red, I won't even doubt it in my mind. I'm just going to roll with it.
But yeah, see, like, let's take that belt right there. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Next up for grabs on the slate, we've got a signed American Combat Alliance, signed by the one and only Dynamite himself. We're going to start the bidding off right now at $2,000. So here we go, going around the room right now looking for $2,000, $2,000, can I get $2,000? We got $2,000. Thank you right here, sir. Can I get $2,100? Need $2,100. We've got $2,100. Can I get $2,250? We've got $2,250. Oh my goodness, we have a church in here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But we're not done. We're going to crank this thing up. We're trying to get $3,000. We want you to open your hearts, open your minds, and open your wallets because we're raising money for a good cause here tonight. And you just keep rolling, man. Keep rolling.
Hey, man.
That is $1 million gift. I swear to God, that is like $1 million gift. I'm sure you've done enough to where you're not impressed with yourself anymore. Because you're like, I can't do this. I put a lot of work behind it. But that is $1 million gift. It truly is.
Hey, I want the camera on me, bro. I wanted to tell you this. I don't care what anybody say. All the haters out there, they can go fuck themselves.
Oh, literally,
you the best. I mean, bro, what you do is special.
It is.
I mean, to me, you got a big fan right here.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
You
means a lot,
just,
guys.
I mean,
really
like,
honestly, I'm gonna tell you what. Like, whatever show you may have, I don't care whether it's an auction or bingo night, whatever it is. Just to see that, if I can afford, if I got the time, I'm gonna be there just so I can see you do what you do.
Because I mean, this is talent, this is skill, this is amount of, this is time and time and time. I know a lot of people, like like you said, you think this shit is easy. I don't have the voice. My voice is terrible.
Even
my voice
is the voice. You can have the voice, the charisma, and the way to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. First to start, I don't even have the voice. So then, even if you have the voice, the energy, anybody that's hating on you, they just can't do what you do.
There's a lot on the do, my friends.
They just hate because they don't know. They can't do what you do because what you do is
rare. It's extremely
different,
rare.
Man. I mean, you special. I don't care what. I don't know if anybody ever told you that, but I'm telling you this right now. The Haitian Kings Podcast is telling you fucking special, bro. I'm telling you
and
that.
The thing is, like, sometimes when you're like in the field of work, like you do what you do, and I'm sure you know plenty of other people that kind of do the same thing that you do. In a sense, I don't know if you, in a sense, compare yourself to them in a sense, and then you know how they say comparison is the thief of joy. To where perhaps you might undervalue it in your head, but seeing it live, and especially seeing you doing it for the first time, it is something that is extremely rare in a sense. Because flying off the top with something like that off a belt without no prep, like who does that and make it so entertaining? That is something extremely freaking rare, honestly, though. Have you ever done weddings?
Well, yes, I've married people before. I've done a lot, man. I've done a lot. And look, it means the world to me. It really does. I'm very, very emotional because this is my dream. It has been since I was a little kid. I've always, I guess, for lack of a term, wanted to be something, wanted to be somebody, And this is my avenue to get that. So I do. I get very, very emotional. The first show when we were on UFC Fight Pass, when the show was over that night, I had to go behind the curtains. I mean, I just broke down crying, bawling like a baby because I knew, yeah, it's not King of the World, but that's pretty big to be on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah,
they were a big network. We did Showtime Boxing. So I got to be on live national television. Plus, we were in the country of South Africa, so it was actually international television. We had Devin Haney. I mean, everybody knows who Devin Haney is. Yeah. Devin fought for us in Shreveport, Louisiana, Bishop Promotions on Showbox. And I remember, tell you a funny story about that one. Back to what I was saying. When the show was over, I had to go behind the curtain. I mean, I fell to my knees. I mean, just crying like there was no tomorrow. And the executive producer from Showtime, I think Gordon Hall was his name. He's like, David, are you okay? I was like, yes, sir. You just don't understand what this just meant to me. All my friends and family, people all across the country, everybody got to see me do this just now. So no matter what, if I never get the opportunity to do this again, which I didn't, you can't take that away from me. There, it's on film, it's on camera. I did it. And I got a lot of compliments. And I mean, I stay in touch with Devin and his dad, Mr. Bill, and they complimented me a lot. So that just filled me up with so much emotion because when you want something so bad and you work at it so hard and you're doing something so unique and so different from everybody else, and when you catch so much crap from the top, then man, it fills you with joy to know at least you got some little bit of acknowledgement, some little bit of respect for what you do.
But I gotta ask you, dude, like when you get angry, did that voice get deeper than what it is now?
Oh yeah, man. We can take it down a few octaves.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I get pretty angry from time to time.
Oh man, that is crazy. Like that is an intimidating voice.
I want to be like because right now because you guys so tell me when you feel like create a story. I mean you say like a bunch of stories, but tell me when you feel like man was crazy. Tell me a story that you have in your mind right now that you think that was crazy.
I remember another one of those emotional nights, and it really did. It lent some validation to me because, like I say, guys, I'm not the most confident guy in the world. I mean, I put on that when I'm out there in the cage because that's my job. My job is to make everybody happy, make everybody hype. But I'm not the most confident guy in the world. And back when we were on UFC Fight Pass, we had Matt Hughes from the UFC. Matt Hughes came and worked with us, and he did some commentating for us and everything. And one night we were done with the show. Matt Hughes came up to me and he grabbed my hand. And he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I've done thousands of these. You know, I was 2-time champion in the UFC, NCAA Junior, Hall of Fame, you know, this, that, and the other. He said, I've seen everybody there is to do it, even Bruce Buffer. He said, you're the best I've ever seen. And coming from somebody like Matt Hughes, oh, man, that tore me up.
And like I said, I know I'm not Matt Hughes or nowhere near close to that. But like I said, I'm a big fan of boxing, a big fan of the UFC. When you're talking about Bruce Buffer and his brother, they're like top tier. Mm-hmm. And seeing you do what you do, and like I said, of course, I'm not Matt Hughes. I feel like you 10 times better than them in a sense. The whole "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" that is so popular. Yeah. Yes, it is a catchy.
Get me tearing up here on camera.
No. Listen, I get it. It's a catchy phrase. Like Bruce Buffer, it's time. It's catchy. But what you do is not just a saying or some kind of fucking cliche words or whatever. It's entertainment. It's kind of like you're a comedian. Like, have you ever thought about doing comedy?
I've done stand-up comedy once or twice.
Hey,
a buddy of mine used to have a little comedy club, and a comedian didn't show up one night. He's like, Dynamite, can you go fill about 5 minutes? I'm like, yeah, okay. Went out there and just told a few stories from my college days.
Yeah, I mean, so I think if, I know, like you say, you know, those top tier job is really those guys gonna be hard to get this job. Yeah. But I think if you ever made it to the UFC, every night you go viral. Every night you do. I think
if you have that amount of eyeballs on you, doing what you do, you're doing it because, like I said, those Bruce Buffers, those whomever, yes, they do it. Yes, they got the voice, but they ain't got what you got. I swear to God, I'm not saying
the uniqueness. You just got that.
And hey, I got the best high kick in the game, boys, and nobody get their foot as high.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The way you just entertain and joke and bring the energy to the crowd. I don't see those guys do that. And as you're saying, like sometimes they hold that call, as if they're reading pretty much everything they're saying. It's like it's scripted. Yeah. But with you just literally put this thing in action out of the blue. Who does that, man?
And I think with you, with the energy you have, and then let's say if you get to the UFC and you started doing it and you see the crowd reacted, I think you kill it after that. I mean, you're just gonna go on your Dynamite.
By going exclusive with AKA as well, it's like, okay, I'm never going to get one of those big top tier jobs. So if I want to be known on the same level as those kind of guys,
you better build it with
we're going to grow AKA to that level. And that's what Amber Bishop, our owner, our president, our CEO, look, we all follow Amber's lead. That is her baby, American Combat Alliance. But it's me, her, and her husband, John. And that is our goal. I mean, we got some really, really big things we'll be announcing here very, very soon. We've got some big stuff that's getting ready to happen for AKA. It's something we've been working at for a really, really long time. And that's our goal. We want to grow ourselves to a semi-national, to a national brand. Look, there's no big dreams of thinking you're going to be on the level of UFC one day. And I tell anybody that thinks they are, look, you're not. It's like the Rock came out with his XFL, and WWE did the XFL years ago, and now you got the UFL. And all. They're never going to be on the level of the NFL. The NFL is so big, I don't care how much celebrity, how much talent, how much money you have behind you, you're never going to compete with the NFL. They'll be here. You might be number 2, but it's going to be this much of a
huge gap between them.
Same thing in MMA. The UFC has become such a juggernaut. It's so big. I mean, think about how many people do you know? Yeah, I train UFC. They mix the promotion with the sport. That's how synonymous it is. So you might have companies before they shut down like Bellator or PFL. Yeah, they're the de facto number 2, but number 2's here, number 1's up here. I mean, nobody's ever going to compete with the UFC. But our dream at AKA is we'd like to be one of those feeder leagues. We'd like to be that semi-national league to where, hey, if you can win a championship with us, perform well with us, then that's your next stop. That's what we'd like to get to one day, and we're very close. We've got some big things coming. Like I say, we were the first and only promotion here in Louisiana to bring UFC Fight Pass so far. We're the first and only promotion that's worked with Showtime Boxing here in Louisiana. Well, I mean, we're on worldwide pay-per-view left and right. We brought in some Hall of Famers First show AKA ever did, we had Nick Diaz come hang out with us. We've had Matt Hughes work 3 or 4 different shows with us. We've got several UFC fighters on our commentary team. Matt Danger Schnell, Matt's one of our commentators. We've also got Victoria Fury Mason. Victoria's a UFC contracted fighter. She's on our commentary team. And then we've got our anchor, Mr. Tyler Moody. And you talk about another diamond in the rough when it comes to sportscasters. Man, Tyler's fantastic. So we've got a great commentary team. We've got Amber. Amber's our president. She's kind of the leader of the pack. And her dad, Mr. Carol Baker, it's a name you've probably never heard of, but he's one of the most legendary martial artists to ever walk this planet. When you talk about Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Cynthia Rothrock, all these great names that we grew up as kids watching on Kung Fu movies and things like that, Mr. Carroll has either trained them or trained with them. I mean, this man is unbelievable before there was ever a such thing as MMA, and that's why he's known as Grandmaster Carol Baker. So nice. Amber grew up around this, having this, knowing what it takes to be a fighter. She grew up with her dad training fighters, and he has so many black belts that he's produced out. So her love and passion for the sport, our drive for excellence, and then my obnoxious self, it's a pretty good formula.
It's a good mix.
It's a pretty good formula. We're getting down there. Because, man, I try to tell people all the time, if you want to go just to another night at the fights, man, there's a ton of companies out there. But if you want an experience, if you want a show to where, from the time the fight is over to the next fight, AKA is an experience. It's like nothing you've ever done to. There's a lot of shows out there, man. Yeah, they got decent fights and they got a little cage and their announcer's got a good voice, but there's just not a whole lot outside of that.
They're not Dynamite.
With AKA, man, it's not just me. It takes a team, but we bring you an experience and we respect the fighters. We try to give the fighters the best possible experience. Like I was telling you with our championship belts. I guarantee you we spend more money than anybody out there on championship belts. But if somebody's going to come through the ranks of AKA and get the opportunity to win that to be called a champion, we wanted something that's worth showing off. That's like being on a NFL football team, and at the end of the season, you went through 16 weeks and you win the championship, and they give you a little plastic trophy that big. The hell is that? No, you get the Lombardi trophy, 10 pounds of sterling silver. It's worth something. It has meaning. Same thing. That's why we go all out with our championship belts. If you're going to be a champion for us, we want you to know, hey, man, this is something worth having, worth displaying, worth showing off, because we respect the work that you had to put in to get there.
And also another question. Your voice is like an asset for you. Because sometimes I hear singers saying, like, before they perform, they take like a 24-hour before that. Either they don't really talk a lot or drink tea or whatever to make sure their voice is in top form. Do you do the same before a show, or you just roll?
No, I never do that. And the thing is, I've never had anybody teach me. There's a lot of guys in this industry that I've been around. Hey, I learned under the great sportscaster so-and-so, and I learned under this guy. And then, man, I never had anybody teach me nothing. Everything excuse my double negative there, teach me anything. But I've never had anybody teach me. Everything I've learned on the fly through hard knocks. So it would have been nice to have some guy who is the voice of the New Orleans Saints teach me for 10 years before I took his spot or something, but I never had any of that. Everything I've done, like when I did that Showtime boxing event with Devin Haney, that was the 3rd time I'd ever been in a boxing ring in my life. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I'm on international television. Only the 3rd time I'd ever been in a boxing ring. And it was so intimidating because there's 5 or 6 cameras, there's wires everywhere, there's managers. Look, on a high-level boxing show, there's so many people in a doggone ring. You got the microphone that drops down from the ceiling. I've got an LFE in my ear, so there's a director talking to me from the production truck. There's another director on the ground sending me hand signals like I'm deaf or something. It was wild, man. And I'm sitting there, I don't want to expose myself, but I'm like, I ain't really never done this shit before, but we're going to get through it. Same thing when I got into the bodybuilding world. I was doing an amateur MMA show in Florida, and this guy come up to me and he's like, man, you did a pretty good job. You ever done any bodybuilding? Hell yeah, man, I do bodybuilding all the time. I've never been to a bodybuilding show. Probably couldn't spell it. But went up there, did his show, and I've been with him now, 9, 10 years. Mr. Russ Meese's his name. I've been with Mr. Russ and his organization 9 or 10 years now. And live through my TV, I know all about bodybuilding. I didn't have a clue.
And then that's why I say you kind of remind me of Saul. The fact that the man keep a positive energy on at all time, to his time, whatever you bring to him, you just got the right energy to just match it. That is just...
I was in a movie one time, straight to DVD release, called The Philly Kid. Excellent movie. For just something that didn't go to theaters, it's really, really good. But it's called The Philly Kid.
I got to check it out.
Well, they brought me in, man, and look, tell you how this industry can do you sometimes. So I'm working one of the smallest, most rinky-dink shows I'd ever done. We were way on the west side of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We were in a rodeo arena, and there's dirt floor, okay? When I'm in the back getting dressed, putting on my tuxedo, literally had my hand on a cow while I'm putting on my tuxedo shoes, trying not to step in cow shit everywhere. So we come out, and they play my music, and I do my intro, and I start the show, and then I go sit down. Well, this guy comes to me, and he had a heavy, heavy English accent. I mean, it sounded like Sean Connery. And he said, hey, I'm a director. I'm making a movie. I'd love to have you in it. And I'm like, okay, who's fucking with me here? Somebody having a little fun. He gave me his card. Okay, whatever. And I told my wife, like, look, I'm going to be in a movie. Yeah, right. Lo and behold, about 2 weeks later, I got a phone call. I'm like, holy cow, be on set this day, this, that, and the other. So I go down to Baton Rouge where the set is. And they've got this little movie trailer. Now, it was kind of small, but it was a movie trailer. They got the white star on the door. And there was a piece of white tape, and it said Dynamite on the star. I said, watch out, baby, I'm here. I'm here.
I'm in Hollywood now.
So we go do the movie. Well, as we're doing the movie, they had scheduled, I think, 4 hours for this one scene. Well, we go out there, and I do my part. And the director looks at the assistant director, and he looks at the sound guy, and they're like, we're good? That's a wrap? And I was like, I can do it again. They're like, no. So they all start clapping, cheering. I don't know what's going on, because I didn't know how movies work. Well, yeah, they had 4 hours scheduled for that scene because they loved what I did in one take. They're like, that's it, that's a wrap. So everybody got a 3-4 hour break, go get something to eat, chill out for a little while before they went back to filming more of the movie. But that was really cool being in the movie. Got to go do some after work, some voiceover work for the after part. And I just remember my head kind of swole up a little bit. Like, yeah, that's right. Old Dynamite's a big movie star now, baby. It's coming. Get out of the way, world. Yeah, no, it didn't come.
That's what I'm saying,
I'm still the king of the little leagues, man.
Think about it, though. Like, what you do is kind of like so rare. Like I said, flying with something. Like, as you said, they had 4 hours scheduled to where you'd have like 1,000 take. And then you just did it once and it was perfect. Just like you can just take any moment and just run with it and just make the
the
best
whole
out.
crew was tickled to death because they just got 3-4 hours off. They got to go chill for a little while. They were happy as could be.
I mean, right now, talking to you, I've been doing the podcast. I'm having the best fun.
I am too, man.
Hear you talking, you bring the energy. This is, I think this, I don't even know what to say because to that level, like the level of energy you bring, like listen to you talking, listen to the stories. I don't think like I said, I don't know. I don't want to give, I feel like give you a lot of praise or stuff like that. But you deserve it, man. It's different. It's just like me looking at like, man, I wish I could be like this. I wish I could be doing this.
If I could just take any moment and just run with it like that, I think I'd go for politics.
Hey, so you never think about doing like social media? Because you remember I was before the podcast, I was telling you about. He's a commentator, but you tell me his name. I forgot his name, but he was doing someone on X.
Oh yeah, Steve Inman.
Man, he's just a commentator.
He's hilarious.
He's looking at a video. It take a funny video and he commented on it. And
yeah, I feel like that's something that would be right there with your alley.
It's one of those. It's a lot of those. We all have our shortcomings, and that's one with me. The technical era, the social media stuff, it kind of passed me by. It's not something that I'm very knowledgeable, up to speed on. I can put together a reel here and there, and I can hit share on a few things, but that's about it. I don't really know how to work that audience and how to penetrate it. So I don't know how to self-promote myself all that great. And sometimes I feel awkward when I do because people that don't know you personally, they see you putting it out there and like, God, this guy's just so full of himself. And it's not that I'm full of myself. I want people to know who the hell I am. Come check out and see what I do.
But there's sometimes the video that usually go viral is just like when you're not even trying. That's the crazy part. Sometimes you.
Case in point, ladies and gentlemen, how about Haley Steinfeld, the Hawk Tua girl, taking the world by storm?
That's what I'm saying.
I think I've heard that they say she's making like $1 million a week. I don't know how true that is, but just from saying, of course it's a catchy phrase, but she just said it out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
And now she's making all this money, and she's in the internet darling and thinking to be a celebrity. Yeah. And you sit back, guys, like, man, I've been doing this forever and can't catch that. And she's like, I'm gonna spit on that thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
sometimes
Dynamite ain't spitting on shit. I'm gonna let y'all know that. Calm down, pump your brakes.
That's my whole point, because sometimes he be the crazy, because think about the Hawk to make it so viral is because everybody, we know the other the other word they use for it. So if she said that, it would not be as viral. It'd be probably like more like sexual kind of ways. But the fact that she's used that, and he was like, "Whoa, hold up, we never heard
but
that."
Hey, that's incredible. I mean, look, I'm happy for her. Happy for anybody that can find lightning in a bottle like that, man. That's incredible. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. I'd love to find it myself one day.
Yeah,
but think about it.
That's awesome.
What you do, because I feel like with what you do, maybe you don't value it as much. But to me, seeing you do what you do, it feel like you're just pulling lightning out of a bottle, out of nowhere. I feel like you're doing that in a sense.
Guys, we had to do it one night, kind of like I told y'all singing the national anthem. I was doing an AKA show at the Horseshoe Casino, in Shreveport. Well, we had a fighter, I think, broke his leg. So with Louisiana rules, if you don't have your doctor present cage side, the show cannot go on. So if he's in the back working on a fighter, the show can't go on to the doctor's back sitting cage side. Well, this young man had broke his leg. He was hurt pretty bad, so the doctor's in the back dealing with him till the EMTs can get him mobile and get him to the hospital. So once again, you're the MC, the master of ceremonies. I got to find a way to kill time. So I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay. So I tell the DJ, hey, give me a little something I can step to. So the DJ starts playing a song. And guys, I did a whole 3.5 minute dance number. And I mean, the crowd goes nuts. And again, I can't dance, man. I got no rhythm, but I'm out there doing it anyways, making a fool out of myself. But the people were entertained. They enjoyed it. Well, I do this show on Friday night. When I show up to my next show, New Orleans, Saturday night, the very next night, 5 hours apart, everybody's like, hey, Dynamite, you gonna dance for us tonight? I'm like, wait a minute, what?
And then that's what I'm saying. What you do is kind of like pulling lightning out of a bottle, because like just like that hack to a girl, like it's something that seems so simple.
Yeah.
But with your skills, your talent, coming out of something, out of anything, nothing at all. I promise you, because I've seen plenty of people try on social media and they don't have the skill or the talent for it. I've seen a guy, all he does is kind of like, he comments on random stuff that happened. He's trying to put his spin to it and make it funny. It's hit or miss. But I feel like if you were doing that same type of thing, just pull random videos on social media and use that voice and that charisma of yours and comment on it, one of them would go viral for sure.
If I had a little more time, I'm a pretty busy man, trying to keep up
like
with my wife,
one
my
of
kids,
them would go crazy.
AKA, but I'd love to get into some stuff like that.
I think your kids probably should be use that opportunity. Having a dad like this, I mean, like, man, if I was your kid, I'd be looking for some video like that. Do you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Come check in that video right quick.
Well, my daughter's a solid gold, man, but I raised them on, hey, you need to be everything your dad wasn't. Don't be a screw up like your dad was. And I mean, I got 2 wonderful daughters. I mean, National Honor Society. They're super smart. They're twice the human beings that I am at 14 and 17 than I am now. I mean, I'm so proud of them. They're fantastic girls. Fantastic girls.
I think it's social media. I think the way you can do stuff, like the way Dynamite do what they might do, I think you go viral just like
You go for sure.
This is talent. I mean, there is not another Dynamite. I don't think, like you said, those guys. They. I'm glad the way you said they got an announcer.
The announcer.
And a entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
It's two different things. You really like, and I don't say you're just basic. I think what you do is just
like you entertain.
level.
You announce and entertain. It's not just with the voice, with the jokes, the charisma, and the vibe and the energy you bring. I feel like it's a total package. And like I said, I've been watching sports for a long time. I've seen a lot of people that do what you do. And it's like when Bruce Buffer or whomever step in the cage, I don't care. I already know what they're going to say. Let's get ready to rumble, or it's time, whatever it is. But with you, the joke, the southern jokes, the southern puns that you say, you get here a mouth fart type shit. Do you know what I'm saying? That would be extremely entertaining in a sense. Like, it's at a whole new level compared to just the voice and repeating something of a flashcard.
So
I'd be sure nice and make a few dollars one day, because I tell you right now, if somebody was to rob old Dynamite, all they'd get was practice. You ain't getting nothing, Bubba.
And that's what I'm saying. Now, see, you saying shit like that out of nowhere. Like, out of
and you
nowhere.
funny too. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Charisma, funny. But so before you do a show, like before the show starts, do you like prepare, or you just go in and just
like, do you think about it on the drive there? Like, what I'm gonna say, the few jokes I'm gonna pull together.
I mean, I try, but the best laid plans, I'll have a run through mine. Okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and then once the show gets going, it's so wild and frenetic, it's chaos, and you're just kind of shooting from the hip. There's been so many times that I was I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna say that, and then at the end of the night when it's over, I didn't say none of that shit.
Hey, but I got to ask you this, Joe. Let's just say when you were 14, 15, and then you were being like an announcer at your local high school and so on and so forth. If you had to give that kid any advice right now, because you've done gained so much experience, what would you say to him?
Don't join the Marine Corps.
Oh, you went to the Marine? You went Marine?
When I was in high school, I was in a Marine Corps Junior ROTC program. So when I graduated high school, before I graduated high school, I signed the delayed entry program, decided, hey, I'm going to be a Marine, right? So I get sent to a boot camp at MCRD, San Diego, California. And while I'm there, we're getting ready to ship out to Camp Pendleton, go to phase 2. I took a pretty bad fall and I injured myself real bad. Well, once I got injured, I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. When I got out, you had to go what's called pork chop platoon, physical conditioning platoon. You got a medical rehab platoon you got to go through. And then they were telling me they wanted to send me back through phase 1 once I got healed up and all this. And guys, I'll be honest with you. I'm not an athlete, never been an athlete. That was the hardest thing I'd ever been through in my life. I remember there was a night or two where I found myself crying for my mama laying in that bunk. Marine Corps ain't no joke. So when I got hurt and all this new stuff was thrown in my face, I was like, you know what? I want to go home. And it took a little while and it took some fighting to finally get myself what they call a entry-level separation, ELS. So it wasn't a dishonorable discharge. I was never actually a Marine. I didn't finish boot camp. But man, that haunted me. That hurt me for about 4, 5, 6 years. Because it just, once you got home, you made that decision to leave, come home, healed up, then you start looking at yourself, it's like, man, I wasn't man enough. I wasn't tough enough. And then your friends and family kind of mess with you about it. And it did. I mean, I went pretty dark. I went through a really, really lot of bad years trying to get past that. And then I finally did. And one of the best things happened when I met my wife and we got going. And once my daughters were born, I knew at that point, hey, you got to pick yourself up and you got to do something better. You got to be somebody to set the example for your kids. So my kids are what motivated me to get my life back on track. And that's why I say it a lot of times to a lot of people, man, sometimes life just gets in the way. If I'd have been a single man and had my stuff together and weren't a nutcase from, leaving the military and being so down on myself for all those years, Lord knows where I'd be right now. If I could just go gallivanting all around the country, if I wouldn't have took those 7 or 8 years off and stayed consistent with the microphone, who knows where I'd be. But it didn't happen. And by the time I did my first MMA fight, I was already married. I had a 6-month-old daughter at home. So there was limitations to what I could do. Yeah, I had a full-time job that I had to hold down to make sure I take care of my family, and I was chasing this on the weekends. So I couldn't take every job that was thrown at me. I couldn't go run to Oklahoma. I couldn't run to New York. I couldn't run to Vegas. So I was limited on what I could do, but I made the most out of it. So again, sometimes just life gets in the way.
I get that 100%, and I agree. And I know you're from the South. I got to ask you this, though. What's your favorite restaurant?
I don't know if I have a favorite restaurant, man, but man, I love some food right here in Louisiana. We got the best cuisine. We've got the best culture. There's nothing like Louisiana. I've traveled all around, man, and I love everywhere I go. I love seeing new places, but we are so unique here in the state of Louisiana. If you go to, let's take a state like Ohio, you can drive from one side of Ohio to the other, north, south, left, right, don't matter. The food's about the same. The accent's about the same. People dress about the same. You come here to Louisiana, you pick any city on the map, drive 50 miles. The dialect changes, the accent changes, the food changes, the way we dress changes.
I agree.
Our culture is so unique here in Louisiana. And yeah, man, I love our food here. I guess one of my favorite things, just a good old bowl of red beans and rice.
Oh, yeah, my boy. Man, that's my
good
favorite
old
food,
bowl
too.
of red beans
That's
and rice,
my favorite
man.
food, too, man.
And I worked at an alligator farm for a lot of years. I'm a big fan of alligator and turtle. Love alligator and turtle. One of my favorite things to eat.
So if you have to live in one city for the rest of your life, where would it be?
One city for the rest of my life. Ooh. I haven't been to a whole lot, but the ones I've been to, man, I tell you, look, they got some nice places in Florida. You get around that Tampa, Brandon, Bradenton, Sarasota, Clearwater. Ooh, it's nice. You get way down south, like where Donald Trump lives, West Palm Beach, those kind of places, it gets real nice.
Expensive, too.
Yes, it does. So, yeah, there's some really, really nice places in Florida. I tell you, I worked with the NCAA Final Four for about 5 years as an announcer as well. And, man, I really enjoyed my time in Atlanta. Now, I know when it comes to sports, us in Atlanta and New Orleans don't get along.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the city of Atlanta. Indianapolis was another good one. I really liked Indianapolis, man. I had a great time up there.
Been there. Kind of remind me of Houston, in a sense.
Houston's just, I don't know, man. Houston just wild. It's so big. That was the last year I worked with the Final Four. I think it was in 2020, 2019. We were in Houston that year. And man, talk about a funny story. The fella that hired me, now I didn't work actually with the games or anything. I worked for Turner Sports, but I was with the Capital One Fan Fest. So when you come into the big convention center and they got all the different hoops set up and all the different things you can do and you meet all the celebrities, that's where I was. I was the host announcer for the Capital One Fan Fest. So I did that for about 5 or 6 years with the Final Four. Well, the last year we did it, it was kind of funny. The guy that hired me every year, he brought us to a club in Houston. I don't remember the name of it. It was our last night there, but it was a very, very, very high-end club. And it was for athletes, it was for rappers, this, that, and the other. And it was a darker persuasion. We'll leave it at that. So when I walk in, I'm the only snowflake in the whole place. And all my buddies with me, they're like, hey, Dynamite, you gonna be okay? I said, man, I'm good, baby. I'm from New Orleans. I'm good. I can get along with anybody. We straight. Man went in, and of course the DJ, all he's playing is bounce music from New Orleans. He's playing Juvenile, Cash Money. He playing Boosie. And everybody looking at me, how this white boy know all the words to every one of these damn songs?
Hey, were you that white guy in that parade video?
I'm in there cutting up, turning up, having a good time. And before the night was over with, I'm up on the stage with the DJ. I done got the damn microphone in my hand. Dude, look, I love everybody. Old Dynamite get along anywhere. I remember this is how exclusive it was. We had bottle service brought to us. It wasn't nothing but a bottle of Ciroc vodka. Just regular old Ciroc. What's that, about $50-$60 for a bottle of it? You know how much that bottle service was? $450. $450 because they had a Roman candle shooting out of it, and the DJ went, here come bottle service to table 3. But it's funny, when that bottle service came,
you got attention in the club. Everybody looking at your section.
Yeah, here come the ladies all of a sudden. But yeah, $450 for a $60 bottle of Ciroc because it was bottle service. Yeah, man.
I feel like you got some crazy stories you're holding in the bank, like some crazy wild stories that encountered throughout your journey.
If you can survive a night out with Dynamite, you a tough son of a bitch, man. You'll have stuff to tell your grandkids about. You come out one night with me.
Hey, I'm interested.
Hey, we only get one life, man. It's very short. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. I don't want to look back one day and have a bunch of regrets. I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have done that. Man, I'm trying to live it up while I can. Because eventually you're going to get old, your body going to break down, and you can't do all those kind of things.
Absolutely.
I've never applied to that philosophy. Okay, I'm going to work for 40 years, and then when my knee don't work, my hip's busted, and I ain't got no hair on top of my head, then I'm going to go try to live my life. Yeah,
that's stupid. I agree with you 100%. But, hey, Dynamite, man, we've let you do, you've done your own intro. We're going to let you do your own.
No, before we get to that.
So you got something else?
No, you got anything like,
shows coming up?
Promotion, and you want to speak to the people, let them know about AKA, and you can do any promotion.
So, folks, I'll let you know, American Combat Alliance. We are the #1 combat sports promotion here in the state of Louisiana, one of the largest in the southeast United States. You can check us out at akafights.com. You can also go to all of our social media. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, and more. It's AKA Fights with an S. So come check us out, follow us, see all the fantastic fighters, see what we're bringing next to you here at AKA. Now, we'll be back here in Lake Charles at the Burton Coliseum on November 23rd. We've got a show coming up, I think September 28th. We're doing a professional boxing and amateur kickboxing show at Sam's Town Casino in Shreveport, Louisiana. Then in October the 5th, we're going to Ruston, Louisiana. Then October the 16th, we're back at Sam's Town in Shreveport for an all-MMA event. And then, like I say, in November, we're right back here in good old Lake Charles.
All right, man.
You do the intro. Do the outro now, like
go crazy,
go crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the entire team here at the Haitian Kings Podcast. My name is Dynamite, saying thank you all so much for coming out. God bless you and good night.
All right, hey, man, that was crazy, man. That type of energy, I'm gonna tell you what, that type of energy you bring is the type of energy people seek from doing drugs. That's it. I don't know what to make you can make of that. I don't know what you can make of that, but being here with you, I can tell you go out with this dude. Like he says, this shit finna go crazy.
I know, man. He's just.
I've had a lot of fighters and gym owners over the years. They're like, Dynamite, what do? You do lines off strippers' ass in the back before you come out?
Yeah, it gotta be something. Cause
you gotta be doing something.
Cause you should come out with it, and then like it's so attractive to where you can't help but all taking that shit.
I mean, this is.
That is crazy, man.
Let me put that belt. I mean, you should walk around with that belt.
Yeah, you should be walking around with that 24/7.
I don't think anybody ever give you a belt, but you on the belt for the best announcer. Not even an announcer is so small.
No, but seriously though,
entertainer.
what you do is amazing, honestly. Like I said, the top tier dudes, of course, life happened, they got to be where they at. Mm-hmm. But they ain't got shit on you. That's my word, that's my opinion.
Well, I appreciate it, man, because like I say, it's been a hard road. I've caught a lot of shit. Like when that thing went viral on Twitter, man, a lot of people in there comment, yeah, this is what you get when you order Bruce Buffer off a Wish. That was my favorite one. I saw that.
But the thing is, though, if those people are being honest with themselves, let's just say they took the time to watch what you do. Go ahead, take the time, watch what this man can do with a fucking mic, and go back and watch Bruce Buffer. Of course, it's well known.
But that's the problem. Everybody wants to be the next Bruce Buffer, the next guy. I'm the first fucking Dynamite.
Pretty fucking much. Pretty much. Go ahead and watch him and then tell me who the fuck entertains you more. Like, who makes you laugh with that mic? Instead of ladies and gentlemen looking at the mic, we got so-and-so coming up and then walk off. And then you got a man who can just sing the fucking national anthem out of the blue.
Well, like this guy who just did the Peak show y'all went to.
Yeah.
He's got a great voice.
It's not Dynamite, man. He's not that.
It's not you, man.
Look, he's doing this all night long. And other side of announcing them fighters, did he do anything?
No, and that's what most of them
Did
do.
you see him leave the cage side?
No.
Did he do anything?
That's what most of them do, and that's what I'm saying. What you do is special. Like I said, I watch sport. I've seen people that put in your line of work. Of course, I'm sure you've seen way more than I have. But for the quote unquote top tier that they're talking about, and seeing you do what you do, especially when you're doing the face to face, it's different. You bring a different energy.
Oh, yeah.
That's my opinion.
Hey, man.
Thank y'all so much.
I think
we
this
knew this a whole lot. I really
Hey, we had fun, man. We had a blast. I had a blast for sure.
Thank you so much for coming to the show, man. I don't think I had the much fun. I mean, we do a lot of the shows.
We do a lot of this show to
I mean,
bring different side, but what you brought tonight was just.
You know, like it's best thing because you don't know what you're expecting. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes the show cool because when you have somebody like you come in and just. We couldn't prepare for this. I mean, there is no way you couldn't write this shit
like
down.
That's like me. I'm coming in like I don't know what these guys.
Yeah,
are
the thing is, we don't have a conversation. We're just trying to have a conversation, not make it like an interview where we're trying to drill you. We're just talking. You know what I mean? We're just talking and making like, man, that was one of the.
Whenever you was selling that bell on auction, man, I was like, I'm done with this guy. I'm done with this guy.
I'm there like I raised thousands of dollars for a lot of charities.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for stopping by.
No, thank y'all so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Like for sure, I'm gonna start following. Like, do you post like what's your social media?
Look out.
Like, do you post like whenever you're gonna have like an event?